Good morning, everyone. Let's do a garden tour, shall we? First up, all of my potted plants are growing and doing well. I think I'm gonna have to put something up here. I don't usually cage my tomatoes in pots, but that one looks like it's going to need it sooner rather than later because it's quite large. But you can see the tomatoes are growing, which is exciting. And my Roma tomatoes are actually, they've probably doubled in size since I planted them a couple of weeks ago, which is really good because I was concerned it was not going to work. There's lots of new growth on the pepper plants, on these ones anyways. These ones over here, I'm not sure what's wrong with this pot specifically. One of the pepper plants, this one over here, is doing really well. That one looks pretty much dead, and these two, well, this one looks like it's coming back, and this one might be as well, but I don't know. I think maybe the shock of being replanted, or transplanted rather, maybe had its effect, but the Romas are doing well, and this one, the peppers are doing well over here too. This is a slicing cucumber plant that has gotten quite a bit larger, and there are some flowers now. I don't see any fruit yet. We'll see if it grows anything. It should, because even if you plant cucumbers later in the year, you can do a later planting of cucumbers and zucchini, and get it, later September-ish. So let's look over at the rest of the garden, which is kind of a mess. It's always a mess. It's going to be a mess until we clean everything up in the fall. I finally got a chance, oh my goodness. I got a chance to hill the potatoes a little bit, and I ran out of dirt. I can't dig down much more because it's clay underneath my soil, so I'm actually going to have Matt pick up some straw so that I can put that around to hill the potatoes. I don't know how they're going to work. I don't know if we'll get any potatoes. We'll see. They're growing at least, so hopefully we'll at least get one potato from each plant. This is my pie pumpkin plant, and there are some green beans in there too. So yeah, see, green beans are flowering, which is nice. The honeybees are buzzing around, which is also good. I'm hoping that they will pollinate the pumpkins. You can see in there, it might be too much sun, I'm not sure. So the pumpkins are growing, which is excellent. We have the bees. I don't know if you can see the bee in there or not. We also have the cucumber beetles. Can I get that in there? So I'm hoping that the bees work faster than the cucumber beetles, and that we will end up having lots of pumpkins and lots of zucchini. Last night when I came out, there were slugs all over the plant. All over almost all of my plants, actually. It was slightly concerning because I've never had a slug problem before, but I think because of all the rain the past few days and cold, that kind of took its time getting out of here, and the slugs like that weather, so I think that's what it is. So in there you can see a zucchini starting to grow. If that flower ends up getting pollinated, it should continue to grow. So I'm hopeful that all these bees flying around today are going to do their job, and then soon we should have some zucchinis. Alright, so this is the kale garden, apparently, because the kale has taken over. This is all, well, I've said this before, it's all reseeded from a few years ago. These are more green bean plants. I love green beans and they're super easy to grow and to preserve. You just have to blanch them and freeze them, blanch them and freeze them. So we also can them for dilly beans, which my kids enjoy. So I have a little bit of lettuce left. I need to plant some more seeds. Romaine typically does better as a seedling instead of a seed, depending on the weather. And the weather was really hot last week and then cold, so and it's supposed to be really hot again this week, so I'm not sure. I might try and plant some inside and then see. And actually, I have been cutting the romaine. I don't know if you can see in here. Let me see if I can focus it better. So I have been cutting off the leaves of romaine, and what's been happening is they are just growing new leaves. And I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to pick it, but I thought I would try it and see if it would come back, because the fewer seeds that I have to plant, the better. And then I also have Swiss chard growing, which was attacked by the slugs. As you can see, all the holes, that's from the slugs. I'm not sure if it's going to keep growing or not, because the kale is pretty much taken over. I might try and plant some more, or I might just pick this, you know, baby Swiss chard and put it in some salad. So like I said, lots of flowers on the green bean plants. I don't see any green beans growing yet, but I know it's only a matter of time, and the plants look really healthy, so I think we'll probably get quite a bit from them, which is good. And over here I have my cabbage, which has all come back since the woodchuck did its damage several weeks ago. This is red storage cabbage, so it lasts, I think if you store it correctly, it can last probably until January, which is really nice. It probably won't last that long in my house because my kids love red cabbage. I make a spicy coleslaw with it, and they will eat that pretty much every day, especially in the summer when it's fresh. There's some more tomato plants here. I wasn't so good with the labeling this year, so I'm not sure what kind of tomato plant this is. But once the tomatoes grow, I will know. And I'm actually thinking that it is a Roma tomato plant. I think these are both Romas actually, because they're a little bit smaller than my other tomato plants. And I also have some basil right here, which I'm gonna pick some more basil. I made a kale pesto last week, which was delicious, and I think I might do that again. But lots of little flowers on these tomato plants, which is exciting. And then over here I have more tomato plants. You might be seeing a theme in my garden, and also more basil down there too. I think this one is a cherry tomato plant, the Sun Gold cherry tomatoes, and I'm saying that because these look like cherry tomatoes. This is the same plant that I have in the pot that I showed you a little bit ago. Obviously this one was planted into the ground about a month earlier, so clearly doing much better. I know that one of these tomato plants is a green zebra, which is one of my favorite heirloom varieties. The taste is a little acidic, a little sweet, really, really yummy though. So it's one of my favorite heirloom varieties. And then this is sweet peppers growing, and there's one growing right there, which is really exciting. I've never had luck with pepper plants growing in the ground. I typically always grow them in the earth boxes. I bought a lot of pepper plants this year. I think I bought 18 pepper plants. So I decided I would put some in the ground because I did not have enough space for for all of them in the pots. And it's a good thing I did anyways, because some of my pots are obviously not growing because I planted them so late. There's more basil here, and there's actually more basil in there. And these tomatoes, I think might be Early Girl. And I say that because they're quite large and it is early. So really smart deduction there. Actually, oh, this one does have a tag. These are Burpee Big Boy tomatoes. They're 10 to 16 ounces in size, so that should be interesting to see. I don't think I've grown those before. My mom used to grow them though, and she used to love them, so I'm hopeful. This bed is the worst bed I've had. I cannot seem to stay ahead of the weeds, and something ate all the stems of my cucumber plants, which these are pickling and slicing cucumbers, I believe. And yeah, they are starting to come back. There's lots of flowers in there. I don't know if you can see them under the leaves or not. So lots of flowers, but also lots of cucumber beetles. So I really don't know how they're going to do. There are a few little cucumbers growing. I can't see it with the, there. Little cucumbers growing, so that is good, but we'll see how they do. And then something keeps eating the radishes in the garden. Just over here though. And then these, I believe, are also Roma tomato plants. They are starting to flower, so that gives me hope. And then, of course, my pie pumpkin plant is growing all the way out over here, and all the way out over here. And by the end of the summer, it might overtake the rest of the garden, because they are quite large. So, yeah. So that is what is going on in the garden this week. It's really exciting. There's lots of stuff growing, and I see lots of flowers, which makes me very happy that some of that will actually turn into fruit, and then we can start harvesting it. If you are growing a garden and you do a garden tour, I would love to see it. I love to see other people's gardens and what they are doing. So leave me a comment below and tell me what you are growing this year. Have a good day, guys. Bye.